Hello, race fans. Welcome back to Freaky Fast Broadcasting as we are here at the Kansas Speedway with the RSR Cup Series for race number 2 of the round of 12 of their 2021 playoffs here at the Evolution Racing League. Let's give a special shout out to all the sponsors who helped make it happen here at Evolution Racing Leagues and Freaky Fast Broadcasting. First, we have Nissan Central, the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. You can go to their website at www.ornissancentral.com. Next, we have Sheffield Graphics, the leading designer in sim racing paint schemes and liveries. It was founded by a Navy veteran, and a portion of every paint goes to the Military Foundation Folds of Honor. It's a great nonprofit organization who gives sponsorship to the families of fallen soldiers and disabled veterans. Make sure to go check them out on Facebook under Sheffield Graphics. Next, we have ButtKicker. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car. By moving to physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant accurate powerful base response, and it's all perfectly in sync with every game with no additional software required. So make sure you go to ButtKicker.com and you can use our promo code FreakyFast20 to get 20% off of any purchase there at their website. So make sure you go check them out at ButtKicker.com and you can feel what you've been missing. Next, we have the McConey Setup Shop. The McConey Setup Shop is your home for iRacing setups and the official setup shop for the Richmond Raceway Esports team, fielding the number 46 and number 90 in the iRacing Coca-Cola series of Jimmy Mullis and Zach Novak. With everything from legends to cup cars, they've got you covered. Dirt setups for late models, modifieds, and wing sprints are available as well. You can also get coaching with professional drivers such as the Coca-Cola Series champion Zach Novak and his teammate Jimmy Mullis, along with River Hayes and many more. And remember, at McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but they're your victories. You can head over to www.mcconeysetupshop.com today, where you can use your promo code FFB10 to get 10% off of any purchase there at mcconeysetupshop.com. And remember, that's FFB10, and you can get 10% off. So make sure you go check them out, and you could see yourself possibly in victory lane. Thank you to all the sponsors who helped make it happen here to Freaky Fast Broadcasting and the Evolution Racing Leagues. It's always a special time shouting them out, but tonight's racing action is very important as we head off into race number 2 of the round of 12. I am Zach Hall. Joining alongside me will be Brandon Colley, and we'll have Robert Moyer Jr. running the production box up top. Brandon, a very important night as we head off into the second race of this round. The night could be the make or break for a few guys.
Absolutely. And looking at the points here, you've got Hunter Hayward, who missed last week's race at Bristol, pretty much coming in here in nearly a must-win situation for this race here at Kansas and next week at Richmond. Sitting 12th, final driver in this round of 12. And then the cutoff driver of Andrew Little, 4,045 points, but the driver underneath him, Nathan Campbell, 4,042 points. So very close battle there, but just ahead of the cutoff, all the way up to Matthew Rush with 4,051 points. It's pretty close. I mean, even Bob Fitzpatrick in fourth, 4,057. These guys are going to have to hope to not have a bad race here, especially with the stage format that the RSR Cup Series has. These stage points we've seen have been absolutely crucial as the rounds have gone on. You have to bank on getting some stage points. You cannot put everything into a race win, because you might get the win, but if you don't, you're going to be at a huge disadvantage, giving up every bit of stage points to these guys that are playing it maybe a little bit more conservative. And right now, if you're Ryan Bean, Kevin Ruff, Hunter Hayward, or Nathan Campbell on the outside looking in, you're thinking, man, a win would be nice, but I've got to go for these stage points. And also, likewise, if you're one of the guys that are just outside of this cutoff, hoping to maintain whatever point buffer you have, you're just putting extra in the bank, hoping that the guys that you're racing that are on the outside looking in, if they're going to finish ahead of you, it's only going to be by 1 or 2 spots in each stage.
Well, Brandon, as they say, history is doomed to repeat itself. And I tell you what, the thing is, I think last season we seen was stage points be a critical talking point. And I think tonight is going to show again. We see in the first round, most guys go for stage points instead of the win. We did see Hunter Hayward elect to not do that. He kind of took the opposite strategy. Just he elected to do that. He's so far out, he does need to win. But at the same time, stage points I still think will be a critical thing. You never know how these points could shake up. I think the stage points are going to be how this round is going to play out, especially this one with 12 guys. And then next week, I think the next round is going to be more important about winning, but I think this round still more important about getting the most points as possible here at Kansas before we head off the next week at Richmond.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at Hunter Hayward, he is 77 points out of the points lead, but he's only 45 points out of that cutoff. He still can make it in on points, but he's got to hope that other guys are having bad races and aren't able to capitalize on stage points. So he's almost in a must-win position, and you've got to approach it that way, but you can't gamble everything on a win, because you can still point your way in, but if you give up those points for free, you're kind of putting yourself more into a box there where it's going to be harder to advance here. Got to be smart if you're in that situation. But other guys, it's just being consistent. I mean, if you can consistently be one of the guys that's up there finishing in the top 10 for all the stages, I mean, look at, Curtis Preston, Travis Everett, GT Rosari, James Catrone really is especially once the playoffs have started, realizing how important it is to finish up there in the top 10 for those stage points. Sitting in 6th right now, Trevor Massetti, another one of those guys that's been consistently at the front for nearly every stage throughout the season, banking those points. And that's why they've been up at the top of the leaderboard all season long. I think guys have started to pay attention to that, especially late in the season, kind of using their own strategies against them and really keeping the points close.
Well, looking at it too here, Brandon, Trevor Massetti not here tonight. I believe he won't be here tonight, and I believe he won't be here the next week either. So I think he was in a must-win situation type of deal at Bristol, but unfortunate for him, it didn't work out. So, I'm pretty sure he's going to slide out of the points. So that is going to open up a spot here as we're watching qualifying start. Hunter Hayward, the first of take time. He's at a 30.81. We'll have to see what it can produce here for qualifying speeds, because I believe it'll be far down for the practice speeds where draft is very important here. I think qualifying is going to be pretty important too, as this race is going to be pretty much pretty wild for the first few laps and then spread out and really get pretty racy from there on.
Well, the good news is that because Kansas has so many grooves available, you can kind of get away and not have to run directly behind somebody with the dirty airs. Hunter Hayward, we see come across the line now for his second lap, putting himself top of the world with a 30.3. A pretty quick lap. I was not expecting that quick on single car speed here. Now it looks like Curtis Preston coming across now with a 30.42 and Nolan Potter third with a 30.429. So times are pretty close, but Hunter Hayward kind of knocking it out of the park here. Only driver within a 30.3 second bracket at the moment. But back to my point, the dirty air is going to be big if you have to run directly behind somebody. But if you can figure out where to get some speed in one of these other lanes, you're going to be able to make passes and set up passes pretty easily. It's just, does the line end up being a bit more preferred and a bit more dominant than any of the other ones? That's where you might run into problem. And that's where you got to have to, you're going to have to consider where you're qualifying. Because if it turns out that everybody ends up running one line and that's where the speed is, it's going to be incredibly difficult to make up all this track position.
Going to be fun to watch as we're about halfway through our qualifying session. Still, Hunter Hayward sitting on top of that top of the leaderboard. As look there, Travis Everett looks like he slots himself up to second there with his time of a 30.41. So still Hayward hanging on. And what a story would that be here, Brandon, for him to go to the top. As look at that, we watched the man 25 there, Ryan Bean. He puts himself at the top of the board with the fastest time. So two drivers with some really quick times needing good races here tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, Ryan Bean, that was a stellar lap. It looked like Travis Everett came close to breaking into that 3/10 bracket there, but Ryan Bean just absolutely smashed it. And I mean, Ryan Bean sitting on the outside looking in the 10th position in points right now. He's less than 10 points behind Andrew Little, that first driver on the inside of the cutoff, and starting on the pole here. If he can keep it up front, not necessarily even win the stages, I mean, that's a great points night for him, but he's got clean air. He's going to have the cleanest air out of anybody, and if clean air is a big factor here, like it tends to be with these cup cars for how aerosensitive they are, he very well could win one, maybe two stages, and that 20 points is going to go a long way.
Stage points, we talked about it, could go a long way for him. Definitely both those drivers on top of the board looking not in the greatest position coming into it tonight, but it could all change after tonight, especially if one of them sits in victory lane. Looking at GT Irizarry here in the 14, put down a time. He'll be coming this time by to see what he sets here as he crosses the line. Let's see what it is. That's a 30.554 first lap. Not going to be the fastest, but we've seen the second lap be the quicker for lap for most drivers. Let's see what Irizarry can do here, Brandon.
Well, I think he could probably put down a quicker lap. My problem is I think he may run out of time. He's got about 10 seconds now. We'll have to see if he can get back across the line before the end of qualifying. I mean, the 14, he cut it really close trying to put his lap time down. 4, 3, 2, 1. And just going to be a little short. Oh, he doesn't make it.
Oh man, he was 100 foot short, man. That was so close for the 14. But it looks like it's gonna be 13th with that, Brandon.
Yeah, that's a little bit of missed time and early in the going here, 13th position for the 14. But he's got a long race, and we know he has pace seemingly everywhere we go. So I look for the 14 to make his way to the front before too long.
We'll have to see here as we hit our starting grid. Starting from that pole position, brought to you by Sheffield Graphics, is Ryan Bean. Second's going to go to Hunter Hayward. Third's going to be Andrew Little. Fourth's going to be Travis Everett. Fifth going to be Curtis Preston. Sixth place going to go to Nolan Potter. Seventh is James Catrone. Eighth's going to go to Matthew Rush. Ninth is Kevin Ruth. And rounding out your top 10 will be Chad Biesinger.
Harold Watkins in the 22 and 11th position. Nathan Campbell, one of our playoff drivers, in 12th. GT Irizarry in the 14th, 13th position. JR Miller in 14th. Zach Schrittenthal, 15th position. Stephen Baldwin Jr., 16th. Marc-Andre Thibodeau at 17th. Kevin Sabilla, 18th position. Ryan Azell in the 5, 19th. And Anthony Yunez in your 20th position. Rusty Wattis, the 21st. Tony Ludi rounding out your field in the 22nd position.
And that is your starting grid here for the RSR Cup Series tonight from the Great Plains 135 here at the Kansas Speedway. Let's go ahead and bring up Ryan Bean from Front Row Racing and see what he has to say about sitting on the front row here and get that pole position, brought to you by Sheffield Graphics.
Hey, Ryan Bean, Brandon up in the booth. You got a copy?
Sir, what's up?
Oh man, great qualifying effort here at Kansas to bring home the Sheffield Graphics Pole Award. 25 looked really quick. We thought Hunter Hayward might have been the only one to break into that 30.3 second bracket there, but you absolutely smashed the lap. I gotta ask, man, what's the grip level like out here? It doesn't look like you guys are too loose, but is that going to be a concern?
For me, it's going to be a concern. When you're in the clean air, obviously you're good, but at least in practice, when I got behind like maybe 2 or 3 cars, it was pretty loose. Like, because you got to be up top, and being loose up top isn't where you want to be, but that's where the speed is. So we're gonna have to learn how to control that.
Talk about the speed being up top. Going to be my next question is, what are the lines looking like here? Where's the speed going to be on the short run, the long run? Do you think guys are going to start moving from the top down to the bottom and finding some speed there?
I think, yeah, speed's definitely at the bottom, but only for 5-8 laps. And then it's gonna migrate to the top pretty quick, I think. But if you're gonna make your moves, I think you need to do it early in the run and on the bottom, and just kind of get a good run and just focus on that. That's what we were doing in practice, is trying to figure out that bottom line to pass.
Well, one last quick question here. Got to ask you how bad the dirty air is out here tonight.
It's not too much of a problem. Again, the cars get loose, so at least for me with the dirty air, you can kind of use that looseness to turn the car a little bit.
All right, Ryan, we'll let you get back down there and start this race off, man. Good luck. Keep that thing clean. Hopefully we can talk to you for one of these stages, maybe 2, and possibly the race win.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, guys.
All right, that was your Sheffield Graphics pole winner of Ryan Bean. Starting out front, the 25 on the outside looking in the playoffs alongside him. Also, Hunter Hayward there starting on the outside looking in, coming into these playoffs. Here we get ready for the initial green flag. Green flag is in the air. Ryan Bean going to lead us to the line. Hunter Hayward, great start from the outside. Actually noses ahead here as we go down to turn 1. Looks like Everett slides down to the bottom. As we heard, the bottom going to be the place to be early in the run. We'll see if it migrates to the top later on, but right now the bottom looking dominant.
Well, and you saw it there. Travis Everett was giving Hunter Hayward a little bit of help, just kind of almost bump drafting him into the corner. He got a gap on the bottom and then pushed Ryan Bean to the lead. And you saw Hunter Hayward down the backstretch there, hop behind Everett, give him that bump draft as well, and push Everett to the lead. But now Hunter Hayward trying to get to the inside of Ryan Bean, trying to side draft just a little bit, gets a little squirrely on the apron there across the line now. Holding the inside through 1 and 2, pushing up just a little bit. That dirty air might be affecting him here, even in the early goings with these fresh tires. Ryan Bean with a great run on the outside, but Hunter Hayward still, again, with the side draft, keeping it even.
Looking to get some points. These two are fighting hard. Here's the 25 and the 48. As Travis Everett says, I'm locked into the next round, has nothing to lose. Teammate Curtis Preston there fighting with Andrew Little, another driver fighting to get his way into the top 8. But man, it is a great start here, side by side action. Looking, I tell you, I think the bottom's good, but I think the top's going to come in pretty quickly from what I'm seeing. The bottom's rolling pretty well. As here we go, battle for the lead. Hayward, what a power move. He goes straight to the lead with a clear over Everett. But does Everett have a mega run here? We'll have to see as he ran the very wall, but doesn't look like he will. Hayward is going to take the lead here early in the going, and he's going to need to do this. He needs to get max points tonight. If he can get max points and at least come with a good finish, he can possibly crawl his way back into a points way of getting out of that hole he's in.
It very well could, especially like you said. I mean, if he comes out here and wins 1 stage, possibly 2, ideally 2, you want to maximize your points as much as possible. Even if he doesn't come away with the win, if you win both stages and finish second, that is tremendous points night for yourself, especially in the situation that he finds himself in after missing last week's race at Bristol. But if you are Travis Everett, Curtis Preston, even GT or Azari, these slide job racing guys, Hunter Hayward's kind of been a thorn in their side ever since he joined the RSR Cup Series and really been giving them their money's worth out here on the track. And they're in a position where they see, hey, he's really bad on points right now, almost needing a win to advance. It's going to be really hard for Hunter Hayward. They're going to be pulling every strategy they can to try to steal a win away to make sure if he's in that position that he can win the race, if they can think of a way to get ahead of him, steal it, and keep him on the outside looking in, they're going to be trying that at every point that they can.
Well, I think you're exactly right about that, Brandon. It's just really, really important to these drivers to who they keep out of the next round. And I think a 48, if you could get him out of this round, that would be a huge target taken off the list. You have to be for the championship because we see each and every week the speed is there at the 48. Not always is the strategy in the racecraft, but man, does the 48 have speed, and that sometimes raw speed can win you races. And right now, hard racing up front between him and Travis Everett. But the thing he's got to look at big picture here too, Brendan. If he gets a top 3 even in these stages, that's 7 points per stage. He could get 14 points just from finishing 3rd in each of these stages. If say, oh, look here, big run from Preston as he gets to the inside with Everett there, already taking the lead. The thing is, if he can hold on to a decent spot here in these stages, he can still get great points without winning stages and, you know, still get a good finish overall. I mean, it's going to all come down to how you put your races together, and I think getting top 5s in stages throughout the next 2 races and finishing top 5 in the race could be the way to get his way back in.
And you talk about how important stage points are. I mean, just behind this battle with Hunter Hayward and Curtis Preston, Andrew Little, first driver on the inside of the cutoff line in 8th position here. He's only 3 points ahead of Nathan Campbell for that cutoff position. Running 4th now, looking to have great stage points to just firmly secure that transfer position. And just behind him, you got the 38 of James Catrone sitting 6th, only 3 points ahead of him. So these guys really shining right now, just trying to hold position. Don't take too many chances. The first stage, make sure you secure some type of points here. The second stage, you can be a little bit more risky. But by no means do you want to get knocked out of this race early trying to gain one more position for the stage. And not to mention, we've still got a decent bit of stage racing left to do here in stage 1. We're on lap 10 now. Stage caution for stage 1 not going to fall until lap 35.
Well, I'll tell you what, also looking at this, we don't have Bob Fitzpatrick either tonight. Because I was looking at the drivers not in the stage. We don't have Fitzpatrick here getting stage points. Of course, he's not here. Massetti also. But Nathan Campbell out of the points. And so is Kevin Ruff, 11th and 13th for both of those drivers out of the points. So we could see some swing here in the points. Like I said, you know, that's what Hayward in the 48 and a lot of these guys who are out, you know, Ryan Bean, that really need to keep in mind, you know, like Kevin Ruff and Nate Campbell, yeah, they're out of the stage points right now, but there's guys missing tonight. Oh, look at this battle between Hayward and Preston. He almost clears himself.
That's no surprise right there.
Yeah, you know. And an interesting battle between those two has been the whole season, I would say. It seems like those two got a magnet for racing.
No love lost between the 29 and the 48. They're probably racing each other harder than any other pair on the track out here. They don't give each other much room. A lot of incidents between the two of them. Bad blood. Race driver, you know, big check out for Preston. There almost gets in the fence. Allow Hunter Hayward to get a run here, but you know, race car drivers, they don't forget what happens to them. They don't forget who caused problems for them, and these two certainly have not forgotten this. I mean, they're letting Travis Everett kind of slip away here. Now Hunter Hayward going to have to give way on the spot there.
Yeah, and I tell you, you know, I always say race drivers are like elephants. We just have great memories. We do not forget anything. And, you know, the big thing I'd say at the picture of them is they race really hard right now, but a lot of times lately I've noticed they haven't been making as much contact as they used to. And it's definitely been good racing, hard stuff. And it gives us something to watch out there as the rest of the field battles here. Look at this. Cray actually got Campbell there in the mix, Nolan Potter. Campbell and Kevin Ruff there, both up on the high side. Both of them playoff drivers in a pretty interesting spot right now as they're in that 12th and 10th position. So Ruff in the points position, but Campbell trying to slot his way in. It's getting tight up here.
Yeah, they were looking like they were bump drafting a little bit, just giving a little bit of draft help to one another. Mutually beneficial agreement there. Now you see Nathan Campbell go to the inside. And Ryan Bean really kind of falling off here, our pole sitter. Now running back in the 9th position, just trying to hold on and maybe find some type of speed. Try to see if the lanes are going to widen out a bit. He talked about he just felt loose behind other guys, especially having to run the high side up here. He's just a little bit loose for himself in the dirty air. Really hoping it gets rubbered up there and guys start searching around for grip in that middle lane or move back to the bottom as the race goes on.
Yeah, it's actually a common thing I heard was loose on the up top. And I tell you one driver who's kind of done the opposite of everybody else, and we see each week in, week out when there's a line down on the track like this, is GT Azari. He's trying to take that 5th place or that 4th place position from Little. He had it at the line. almost had him clear, but Little fought back to the rear quarter panel, pulled him back, and now Little trying to get back by Irizarry here to claim that fourth position. But yeah, GT up from 13th to 5th there, man. He is really climbing, and he's running the bottom. And the interesting thing is, you know, if we're hearing these guys are loose up top, if they go up there and burn the right rear off, it's only going to get worse. If GT can just manage his tires down low, it could work out for him, but he could also suffer from a right front syndrome. So we'll have to see which line produces better wear and overall long run pace with this type of setup. But man, I'm interested right now with some different lines playing out still.
Well, and that's the funny thing is that it's something we see consistently out of GT. If there's a track where it seems like the high side is going to be dominant, I mean, Bristol immediately comes to mind. He is really good at making that bottom work that you need to be able to make those passes happen when everybody's running in a train up against the wall. And he has made his way up, like you said, up now to the 5th position, up 8 positions from his starting spot. We saw him just miss his 2nd lap in qualifying, and no surprise at all. And he just now sizing up the competition ahead of him, and it's getting harder with each pass he makes as he gets closer to the front. These guys are getting faster and faster, but they're starting to show a little bit of wear, a little bit of lack of pace on the high side. That run still paying off big for them, but the center speed is just absolutely killing these guys right now, and that's where GT seems to be really fast.
Yeah, and what he's trying to take advantage of there, Brandon, it looks like checkups. You get, you know, say the 48 Hunter Hayward, he gets tight, he's going to check up Little a little bit on that outside line, and then that's where Irizarry is going to try to pounce and take advantage of it. But see, he isn't able to take advantage of it there. Slots back in. Here goes Catrone. Can he use the bottom? Doesn't look like he's got much speed there to roll the bottom. Looks like he'll have to slide back up, maybe can get in that hole there if he can get a rush here coming to the outside. So he gives up a spot there. So took a chance to get the 14. Now you're going to lose one spot. And that just shows how difficult it is when it's a top dominant track like this to make passes. And it's going to take some patience from these drivers if they want to be able to go forward.
Yeah, really reminiscent of old Kansas before we really had a lot of options, before the groove really widened out. You try to make that pass, everybody rim riding up against the wall in that top lane. The problem was, if you pulled out to try to make a pass and you could not get it done, you have to hope the gap behind you stays open. Otherwise, you are just going to fall like a rock. And now Ryan Bean he tried to make a move on, I believe, James Catrone. Now going to be able to almost slide job Schrittenthrall. Going to have to get up here in a hurry. It does pull off that pass. Schrittenthrall looked like he wasn't going to go for the crossover. Decides to go as he's got the gap in front of Bean to try to fill. But again, you know, that gap behind you is not there. You're going to fall back. But also, if you try to dip out to make the pass and there's no gap for you to slide into ahead of the guy you're trying to pass, the same exact thing is going to happen. You're going to get stuck on the bottom and you're going to lose positions. And that's why you see so many guys content with just riding around. You really have to show a lot of patience, a lot of racecraft, and wait for the right opportunity to strike.
It's one of those. You're actually really, really exactly right about that, Brandon. How like it's back to what we used to get almost. It's kind of expecting something different because, you know, last year Kansas I've seen with this car is almost clears himself on the 68 and Andrew Little as Hayward gets a big run on Preston up front too as he decides to back out. But yeah, drivers are electing not to do it. Like I've seen Hayward, he's got multiple runs on Preston, but I feel like he's looked up in his mirror and said, if I make this move to the inside, I'm going to get stuck on the bottom and probably go back to 5th. And I think he's making a wise call there to stay in 3rd. And the biggest thing you can do right now as a driver is just see if the guy in front of you makes a mistake. And this is just personally from past experience. You too, Brandon. I know you experienced this the Kansas where you just ran the top. And it's kind of what we're seeing right now.
It's really frustrating because, I mean, it's the same as Bristol. You're going to have a guy that you've got pace over, but just because the lower lanes, they're just not quite there yet, you get bogged down and you know you're faster than them, and if you can get ahead of them, you're going to pull away, but you just can't quite complete the pass. The hardest thing is trying to get to somebody's outside when everybody's running the outside lane. I mean, you can set up runs, you can see a guy at some part of a corner, maybe he's getting back to the throttle a little bit too quick late in the run, losing the back end, having to check up. And you have to try to time that right. And if you can, especially down the front stretch, ideally the front stretch, if you can get a good run out of turn 4 and just get the nose to the outside, especially with the side draft now that they have on this aero model for the Cup cars, You can sneak to somebody's outside, but the timing has to be absolutely perfect, and that's you're riding behind the guy, and that's what you're doing the whole time. It's trying to figure out those small little parts of the corner where you might make a mistake, or you might have just a slight bit more speed.
Well, I'll tell you what, also, lap 35 is where we have to go here for the stage. That's going to be close on fuel with a 60% fuel load, guys. I did the math, had a little bit of data to look at, and personally, it was going to be close for fuel. And with them running the high line like this, I would be worried about Travis Everett the most. He's leading this line. Now, Curtis Preston, Hayward, you know, those guys have been doing definitely some interesting, you know, they've been just riding up top there behind them. They should be better on fuel, if not better than Everett. But also, you got to think about Irizarry. He's been running the bottom line, so he might even be better on fuel. So we'll see if there's any fuel issues, especially getting back to pit road. That's the big issue for these guys. But yeah, gotta save some fuel, I believe.
Well, that's going to be interesting for sure. I mean, we've got just under 10 laps now to go for the end of stage 1. And you've got to think that some of the guys at the back, the field's really gotten spread out as we've been single file. Not too many guys going to the bottom, but guys getting into the wall. And that's the risk you take running so close to the wall here, is when somebody runs into the wall ahead of you, everybody has to check up, and that really leads you to lose touch with that front pack. So some of these guys at the back that are running a little bit off pace, they're going to be saving a little bit more fuel, but also running the high side, like you said. You're on the throttle a lot more, you're carrying a lot more speed, RPMs are up, and that allows you to carry the big run off the corner, but it burns more fuel doing so. I think of the front pack, GT might be in the best position here to be saving fuel for as often as he's been out of the throttle, running the bottom lane. If anybody is going to be able to make it, I've got the most confidence in the 14 now running in the 4th position. But there's also guys like Andrew Little and James Catrone behind them that have kind of just been minding their own business, just holding steady, ticking off laps right behind these guys. They may have had great opportunity, especially with the trap to the guys in front of them, to save a little bit of fuel.
Well, I tell you what, give a shout out there. Look at Ryan Bean. He's starting to go by Catrone, but give a shout out there. Oh, look at GT again, trying to use that bottom. He's navigating his way all the way from 13th to 4th, but behind that, Matthew Rush, he's made his way to 5th, man. I mean, what a drive for him. He started 8th, but he dropped back, you know, near the edge of that top 10 and has slowly worked his way back to the top 5 here. And shout out to Matthew Rush having a good run here tonight. Also, was one of our Final Four contenders last year. And oh, look at this. Irizarry trying to close up to the outside. Preston may have a little bit of help there with him backing up a little bit. It may help GT clear. Let's see how this plays out. This is interesting. The 48 stuck behind the 29. You know, can't really go nowhere. Look, now GT is definitely ahead. Really, if the 29 slots in here, it should be Irizarry for that position. But here comes Hayward back to the outside. This racing interesting is, look at this 14 diving now to the inside again. Can he clear? I don't think he can. He's going somewhere on that bottom. He does clear.
GT makes the bottom work. I don't know what it is that he does, but his driving style, it really favors being able to run the bottom when guys run on the top. Also getting the call, Curtis Preston pitting this time. Andrew Little pit last lap. So these guys, even some of the ones we thought might have been able to save a little bit of fuel, are deciding to come in here pretty early. We've got now 3 laps to go to the end of stage 1.
Oh, man, this is going to be wild. See who can make it on fuel. You know, if they're planning this out, it should be pretty close here for these guys. I know it was about a lap to about a half a lap short just running by yourself, but the draft should have helped. But also, if you were running up top, it could have changed the fuel mileage. Here comes Travis Everett. Looks like GT Irizarry and Hunter Hayward going to elect to stay out, as Matthew Rush does too. Did these drivers think about this early? We'll have to see.
Well, if these guys do not pit, this is going to trap Curtis Preston a lap down here. If they get back around and trap guys like Travis Everett, who's the only one on pit road, this could be bad for the slide job racing guys, as one of their drivers may end up getting trapped a lap down while the other gets the lucky dog.
If he took tires, he should be able to drive back up to him. If he didn't, and only took fuel, I don't think he'll be able to get back up there to him. But here comes Irizarry. He comes on the racetrack. Oh, look at Hayward. He gets to the outside. This is going to be the battle for the stage win. There's just 2 to go here in the stage. They'll be looking to take the white next time by. And yeah, the pit lane has closed. So the pit lane's closed for these guys. They cannot come in. They'll be looking to take the white. Did they save enough fuel?
Well, looking at it, Curtis Preston and Travis Everett now a lap down, both not taking tires, only taking fuel with the battle for the lead here. Hunter Hayward able to get it over GT or Zari, but they're side by side now coming to the stripe.
And white flag out for this stage. Hunter Hayward, did he save enough fuel? Look at GT dropping back pretty hard. Looks like he's lifting big time to save some fuel. Hayward must be pretty confident. The thing is, that is going to be another lap under caution. That's the big thing I think he needs to keep in mind. If he was playing this out from the beginning, it's going to work out because he's going off the 3 and 4. And it looks like he's running out of fuel here. Looks like multiple guys possibly running out. And oh, he's out of fuel. Will Irizarry get him here coming to the line? He does. GT wins the stage. Hayward second. Looks like Rush is going to come home third. But man, the big thing for Hunter Hayward though is he's not going to make it back around for his pit stop. He's got to think about that.
We have talked, I mean, we mentioned it just this race. We've mentioned it in prior races. The strategy is bit Hunter Hayward again, just mismanaging his strategy, and now being in nearly a must-win position, he's going to get 3rd or 4th position for the stage, but he's going to have to take a tow, fall multiple laps down, and have to hope for a lot of luck to go on his side to get back in contention to win this race, or let alone get any points for stage 2.
I believe he's going to get a push. With GT now, he's going to try to make it also. Wow, that was a wild. I knew they were going to be close. I did a little bit of math looking at some data we had. And oh no, I think that didn't end up good. Did Hayward end up in the wall?
Hayward did not get the wall. I believe it was his teammate of Anthony Yunez trying to give him a push and ended up just looping him on the backstretch there. So Hunter Hayward having to take the tow now. And really wasted some time trying to get that push rather than just take the tow immediately. So this is kind of just stacking on top of the woes for the 48 team. That's a big hill they're going to have to climb. And also getting word GT Irizarry out of fuel.
Oh man, you're going to see here Matthew Rush going to lead us to pit road, but he won the stage. GT looks like he's going to get back to his pit box. It's actually good he didn't have the greatest qualifying spot. He didn't have to go all the way down pit road.
That is one of the big pluses. His pit stall is going to be a bit earlier than everybody else's, but big thing here, don't miss your box. Don't go too short, don't go too long. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there waiting for the guys to fill you up, but you're going to have to take a tow.
Looks like he'll get service done. That's a good stuff from that man there, as he'll be your stage 1, the winner. We'll have to bring him up here as 13th to 1st. GT does not surprise and save the fuel by running the bottom line. We talked about it. He looked to be the only driver that could possibly do it. And, man, Hayward, though, making the mistake of not doing it, that just shows the 2 different tales of the story there for them. And, man, oh, man, Irizarry getting the better end of that. Matthew Rush also one of the other drivers. But also, remember, Preston and Everett, they both were a lap down, so they had to take the wave.
Yeah, going to be even more short on fuel for Curtis Preston. I'm not sure. Travis Everett may have gotten the lucky dog here, so he may be able to come in and maybe top off. We'll have to see how it comes back around, but Curtis Preston for sure going to have to take the wave around. Going to be on the older tires. Going to have to hope for a quick caution here, because on older tires versus new tires, definitely going to be going a lap down under green. And Curtis Preston, though, electing now to come down pit road rather than take the wave.
Very interesting stuff playing out, but let's go ahead and talk to our stage 1 winner of GT Irizarry and hear what he has to say about that stage 1 victory.
GT, Brandon up in the booth. You got a copy, bud?
Hey guys, what's up?
Well, man, congratulations on eking out just enough fuel to get that stage victory. Looked like you had kind of given it away, decided, man, I'm not really going to be able to battle him. Maybe start saving some fuel, saved a little bit down the backstretch. Then the 48 runs out of fuel. You're able to take it and have just enough to get back to your box. Flexing a bit of that experience, GT. How close was it, man?
It was very, very close. I mean, close enough to where my teammates pitted, and we all practiced together. But I just kind of stayed back there, and I really think that there's there's more to the low line that a lot of people don't realize, and that may have helped me actually save some fuel there by running down low, and mainly in 3 and 4. I mean, we could just get such a good run going in there. The guy on the outside screwed up. We possibly could have passed him, but I mean, I coasted down pit road enough to where, I mean, I actually sped. That's why I'm going to the tail end of the field now, because they caught me speeding by like 2 miles an hour. So whatever, man. I'll take the points. We certainly want to get them.
Well, I'd take the speeding penalty for sure over the tow for running out of fuel. And that was, you touched on my next question here. Is we talked about it, and it seemed like, I said it. I felt confident that if anybody up there was going to be able to make it on fuel, it was going to be you being able to run the bottom where everybody else was running the high side. And I got to ask, how are you making that bottom lane work? You seem to be doing it really, I mean, here and Bristol both. When nobody else can do it, you can do it. What is it that you're doing?
I practiced at it. So I mean, every time we had practice sessions, I just went on ahead and just ran the low line and try to make it work. And I realized during the practice sessions, I mean, you can make it work. It's certainly not going to be the fastest way for the speed down the straights, but when you got everybody fighting to the top, I mean, let them go up there. I'll try and go where they're not.
Well, man, let you go back down here and get ready to start this thing off. Saw you come from the back from the start of the race. I'm sure we'll see you up front again. Wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of stage 2.
Yeah, Tiff, man, you got a big mixed bag right here with all these people. You got a lot of real good cars trapped a lap down right here.
All right, interesting stuff playing out here as we get ready to go green flag racing with Matthew Rush, our leader. Mixed bag of strategies all over the place as we get ready to go back green flag racing. There it is, green flag back out. We're off and away. Matthew Rush out front. Got Nathan Campbell, Zach Strittenthal there along with him. James Catrone and Junior Miller in the 28 to round out your top 5.
Looking at that restart again, Zach, a little bit of a checkup on the inside lane there. Looked like the 48 got into the back of the 59 of Travis Everett. Everett with just a little bit of rear end damage, a slight grazing in the center of that spoiler on the back of the 59. Shouldn't have hurt him too bad, but obviously not what you want to have happen, but can't really blame anybody for that one. Checkups they're a pain. You can't really see what's going on ahead of the guy. You can't anticipate them.
Well, man, like GT said, what a mixed bag we have here as we're watching the battle for that 3rd position between Campbell and Catrone. Oh, we almost have a 4-wide moment in the back here. Little Everett and Hayward with Ryan Bean also, but the cars that are lapped down. Kevin Sabilla in the 78 goes a lap down from that segment. Travis Everett, Anthony Yunez, Ryan Bean, Marc-Andre Thibodeau. Andrew Little goes 2 down somehow after running in the top 5, starting 3rd. Hunter Hayward started 2nd, almost coming out of 4 to win the stage is 2 laps down. I mean, this is really a mixed bag. I'm not sure what happened to Andrew Little. Maybe the same thing happened to him where he ran out of fuel also.
Well, Andrew Little, I believe, was one of the first cars to hit pit road. So he should not have been too close on fuel unless he just put in too little amount of fuel. And now he's up into the wall, almost gets into Ryan Bean. Hunter Hayward now trying to take advantage. But, I mean, again, you've got these guys that are laps down battling back here. You've got Hunter Hayward trying to make moves on Ryan Bean. Hunter Hayward's 2 laps down. Ryan Bean, Travis Everett just ahead of him, only 1 lap down. Hunter Hayward not really racing these guys, but these 2 up here are trying to race for that lucky dog position.
Yeah, this is a hard fought position. I mean, these guys are fighting because if they get a caution, like you said, it's the lucky dog. And I mean, Hayward there 2 laps down. He's not really in position to get the lucky dog here. He just needs to stay out.
Oh, they're wrecking ahead of him. Move.
Catrone and Rush, and there's a big, big wreck here down the front straight away. Multiple cars involved, and the caution's going to come out and look right there. That was the lucky dog position they were looking for. I believe Everett looks like he may be the one in position for it.
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, if you're that close as the lucky dog, you have to battle for it. You don't want to see lap down cars battling in the midst of lead lap cars if you are the lead lap car, but you also understand that is a valuable position and they have to battle. They can't just let you go. And that is exactly why you battle. Stuff like this happens, and that's exactly what they were banking on is, man, I got to put myself in the position if there's a caution, and sometimes it falls your way. Luckily for Travis Everett, it fell his way. Ryan Bean going to have to hope for something similar here. And guys like Hunter Hayward, Andrew Little, they're going to have to hope that a lot of guys at the front pit for fuel here just to make sure they can make it to the end because they need to take the wave being 2 laps down. Not a lot of opportunities for those guys to get that extra lap back.
Well, we've seen there on the Freaky Fast replay multiple cars. Nathan Campbell, one of the playoff drivers involved. Matthew Rush also involved in that. And looks like Catrone and Rush making contact. I'm not sure if Catrone was trying to side draft the 11. And, man, just came up, and as the 11's coming down the racetrack, they make contact, and then from there it just transpires into a gigantic wreck on the front straightaway. As that'll bring our second or Nissan Central caution of the night. First one for a collision, and that's going to involve a few good race cars and get some guys back on the lead lap here, definitely. So Everett's going to like to see that, but a few of the other drivers not going to like to see that. Now, also what you said about the fuel mileage thing, there is guys hitting pit road. It looks like they're going to come down and get some work done on their cars. But I was going to say not everybody should hit pit road here because, with this stage here being at the end of lap 70, we ended the first stage, got the caution at 35. We had a few caution laps, so it shortens this stage, and also these caution laps even shortens it more. We should be plenty to good on the fuel if they top them things off under pit stops.
Yeah, and I mean, you see guys like GT staying out. Catrone staying out, not much damage on his part. And just going back and looking at it, Zach, I've had something happen similar in my experiences, not here at Kansas, but at a track that's very similar to it at Chicagoland. You anticipate guys cutting that apron. You see guys do it so often. You anticipate the guy on your inside to go there, and you come down the track and don't expect him to be right against your door when you come down. And it looks like, I think that's what Matthew Rush was doing, just anticipated the 38 being lower on the racetrack. Unfortunate result for Matthew Rush. Luckily, James Catrone not getting much damage, but I mean, a lot of other guys getting torn up in this wreck as well.
A lot of hurt race cars under this second yellow of this race. Brought to Nissan Central. I just seen a few cars exiting down the pit road to get some more work done on them. But at the moment, Zach Schrittenthal leading this race. Great position for him. Look at Harold Watkins up to second. Also, some big movers through the first stages. Ryan Ezell up to 6th from 19th. Some great runs happening here early in this race, Brandon. And I tell you, Kansas is a place where if you play your cards right, you could be in a great position to get a victory.
Yeah, if you can take advantage of some misfortune by others, it's turned out to be a pretty big track position race so far up to this point. We'll have to see as we get later and later into it. With everybody running the high side, it's going to be putting a lot of rubber down up there, and it's going to open up a lot of opportunities around the racetrack to find some more grip. Just moving different lanes and see if another lane comes in with some speed. And, I mean, if you're somebody like Ryan Ezell that has come from the back here, kept your car clean, and got in decent track position, you can take advantage later on and just try some different things and see where you can gain an advantage over a guy in front of you. Maybe pick up 1 or 2 more positions, find yourself in the top 5 for a good finish of tonight's race.
Well, looks like we should be going back to 1 to green here when the cars cross the start-finish line here. Is we'll get ready to re-wreck them back up. And yeah, it's shook it up here a little bit of this. Ryan Bean now into the lucky dog spot. Actually, Nolan Potter now. Sorry about that. We'll slide into, oh, nope, now upstates Ryan Bean, yes, again in the lucky dog spot, but more cars 1 lap down. So that, for guys 2 laps down like Hunter Hayward and Andrew Little and Matthew Rush now, who are playoff guys, that really hurts them, having more guys get 1 lap down, and it traps them even farther down.
I was just about to bring that up. I mean, this wreck, it was good because it gave them an opportunity that maybe they could take the wave, but with the cars that it has damaged, that's just adding more and more to the cars that have to unlap themselves before they have the opportunity to start getting those lucky dogs. And I mean, Hunter Hayward now 17th position, definitely wants more, but he's locked in at 17th at the time being, 4 cars ahead of him, at least 1 lap down. So it's going to be, like I said before, a very big uphill battle for the 48 and the 68 to get back on the lead lap here. They may not ever get a chance to do it.
Yeah, I think this could put the 48 in position for a must-win at Richmond. We'll have to see how the points shake out after this race if he can't get himself back in position. But right now, Schrittenthal out front, not a playoff driver, looking to get his win this season. Let's see what he can do as we get ready to go back green flag racing. There it is. Green is out And Stritton throws off and away. Watkins, good start up top. He'll slide down into second with Catrone clearing for third as Irizarry, our stage 1 winner, will go to fourth with his teammate Curtis Preston slotting into fifth.
Yeah, the wily veteran GT. I mean, we talked to him after that stage. He got that penalty on pit road, was at the back, but now all the way up to the 4th position in just a handful of laps here, and sitting in a pretty good spot. Now these guys are racing pretty hard. Look like Catrone just ahead of him, getting the apron, trying to make the pass on the inside of Watkins. That's allowing Stritton to extend his lead just a little bit. But the biggest point here is that GT has help. He's got drafting help. If he decides to go to the inside on the backstretch, he can count on his teammate to go with him and drag him along to gain a position as well. It's the beauty of teamwork.
The beauty of it is very nice when you're on the good end of this thing. Sometimes it can come back to bite you, though, as the battle continues on for that 2nd position. Watkins trying to hold on to it. Irizarry trying to work by. Stritton trying to run away. Look at Kevin Rucker. He slides up into the picture of the 7th. Says, I'm in the picture as Ezel here. Slides back to 7th. Ryan Ezel having a great run also in this 5 machine as we ride on board with him. He sees all this action unfold in front of him.
I'll tell you, Ryan Ezel having a great run, but I'm looking directly ahead of him. The 112 Cabin Ruff got a pretty decent amount of nose damage in that last incident, but still keeping a good bit of speed in the 112 considering, and I think the draft's having a lot to do with it. Probably not going to be a race-winning car for the 112, but if he can stay in the draft and not lose touch, keep a car behind him to keep the speed up, he's going to be able to hold pretty decent track position.
Look at this. Stritton hanging on by a thread here as, wow, Irizarry. He slid up in front of Curtis Preston. At first stage, just slid right down in front of the nose of Curtis Preston. The way those two raced, you would not think they're teammates, but man, they're always clean with each other at the same time, but very cutthroat at the same time. As here's going to be the big run for the 14. It's going to stack up on entry. Stritton covers off the bottom. Doesn't let him get there. As man, more guys electing to take the bottom here and now, as it's been bottom and it's really been top dominant, but this bottom looking decent in the early going.
Well, as they're battling up there, I'm going back through the top 10 here, and I noticed Hunter Hayward in the 48, 17 position on the track, but he is reeling these guys in. We know he has the speed, was there for the stage win for stage 1, and he's trying to get that 1 lap back the hard way. And the problem is, we talked about how hard guys like Curtis Preston and GT were going to make it on him because they know how good he is. They're going to race him very hard to make sure he stays 2 laps down.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult for him to get those laps back. As you see, he's closing up on the back of his pack. I mean, he is definitely tracking some quick laps back there in that position, but he's near a position where it's like, does he go for the old-fashioned way of getting a lap back? That's going to be tough to do, and the guys are going to race you really hard.
Yeah, and the big thing is, I mean, it's one thing to do it and do it cleanly, but you have to understand the guys ahead of you are on the lead lap. Yeah, you're trying to get back out there, you're racing hard to unlap yourself the hard way, but you also have to respect the fact that these guys are on the lead lap. You don't want to do something that's going to hurt somebody else's race while you're trying to benefit yours. And Hunter Hayward, he's been giving everybody plenty of space, letting them battle it out pretty hard, taking runs where he can here. He's finally caught up to this pack, and I think he's learned a little bit of something from GT because he has not come off the bottom.
Yeah, he really has been stuck down at that bottom lane down there trying to make that work. You know, it's also giving the preferred line possibly to the guys up top. That could be what he's thinking. Like, if I'm going to get a lap car, I got to race down low. But at the same time, like, if he's not going to go up there and get the lap back, there's no reason to be burning up tire either, because he's got to be able to stay out, do something off sequence here, get his lap back at some point to get 1 lap down. Because 2 laps down is not going to help you when there's other guys 1 lap down ahead of you.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to think of something, and I say it all the time. It's really easy to think your way into a loss, and you just overthink the strategy just being off by that little bit. Look how much it's cost the 48 just by being, I mean, even just a little bit more than what GT was. GT was able to make it back around. It saved just enough. Hunter Hayward really throwing the kitchen sink at it, trying to get those stage points, and has put him into a position where those points are not really mattering much for him now. He's going to have to think something very big to cycle him back around just on strategy alone to get those 2 laps back. But, I mean, if green flag pit stops happen and he's just in the right position, he very well could do it if he gets a timely caution. But we're going to have to see. These guys up at the front, it's really spread out a good bit. You still got Ryan Ezell and Harold Watkins ahead of him battling. Looks like Ryan Bean able to catch up now to the back of that battle. Ryan Bean going to be the lucky dog car here. Kind of in the same position. Looks like he's trying to race his way back onto the lead lap the hard way, but I think Ryan Bean in a far more precarious position. He doesn't necessarily need to do that. He just needs to not get collected in anything should an accident happen.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about Hayward there with his deal, but the opposite end of the spectrum, Andrew Little, another playoff guy, 2 laps down. He's out here running as slow as possible way back here. I kind of like his strategy back here in the 68 of what he's doing, is trying to get back his 2 laps. Knows nothing really he can do to go back up there and get him the old-fashioned way probably. So right now he's just electing to hope something happens to help him get one of those laps back.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, again, opposite ends of the opposite sides of the coin. I mean, Hunter Hayward pushing really hard. Andrew Little taking it easy, thinking, hey, if I maybe save a little bit of tire, maybe save a little bit of fuel, if these guys have to pit, I can stay out. That's a good way to get my laps back, just be able to stay out when everybody else has to come in. If we get a caution here in the next 10 laps, I imagine we're going to see everybody hit pit road. That's going to allow somebody like Andrew Little, who's saved enough fuel that he knows he can make it to the end of the stage. And he's going to be able to take the wave around, not have to worry about being off sequence because the stage caution's coming. He's going to be 1 lap down. No problem. Now it's just a waiting game.
Glad to see how they played out, man. It's right now looking clean and green to the stage, but you never know in racing. As we look back here, here is Hunter Hayward. Look, he's drove all the way up to really the 5th place car. I mean, there's 4th place right ahead of him with James Patrone. So he's passed Harold Watkins, and he's trying to do it. He's got 7 laps to get there. I mean, he knows the stage is coming there. If he can get there in time, it's going to be worth it. But that's a tall task to go up here past, you know, Patrone, Preston, and Irizarry. We'll have to see if he can do it. I kind of doubt that. But right now, what a drive for him as GT looking to possibly win stage 2 also here this season.
And Curtis Preston trying to figure out a way to get by his teammate, but GT again running the bottom through 3 and 4, excuse me, whereas Curtis Preston running the high side through 3 and 4. Curtis gets a really big run, but it's just not quite enough to get to the back bumper of the 14. And now to 1 and 2, GT running that high entry, cutting down to the middle to the exit of the corner out of 2. And he gives up just a little bit, but the run is just not there for the 29.
You know, we should just call him GT Mr. Opposite, because he does exactly opposite of what his competition does. And he says, you know, he said in his interview to you, Brandon, he says, I'm going to run where they're not. And that is a thing I got to praise him for, because he goes out there and finds grip where other drivers are not comfortable to go find. And look at him right now, searching everywhere. And it's working too, man. He gaps them when he does that.
Well, I mean, it seems really obvious, but to a lot of guys, it's not. I mean, you're not going to pass guys running where they're running. So you got to run where they're not to make those passes. And GT, that's why he's so good. That's why he's always so fast, because he is so good at figuring out where to run where other guys aren't, that there's a lot of grip, and he practices it. I asked him how he did it. He said when they do their practices, that's what he does. He runs where other guys aren't, figuring out where the grip is, and it pays off come race day each and every week.
And at the moment, he's just using the bottom to perfection, Brandon. I don't understand that.
I think he's just really patient, and it saves his tire, and it allows him to carry a lot of center speed and almost, you know, nullify the run the high side's getting. And if Curtis gets close, he runs that middle lane. That way he can hop up in front and almost stall him out. But now Curtis Preston able to get that run, able to get the side draft just a little bit. GT not quite in the position to side draft him on the entry to pull him back a little bit. But now GT
Good.
not quite going to let him get clear. Going to have the run on the high side.
And this is coming down to the end here. 2 to go in the stage battle. Preston trying everything he can. There goes the pit lane closed as these drivers do everything they can. GT clears him off into 1, but now off of 2 here. He's got a 2-car length gap. Big run down the back straightaway with the help of Schrittenthal to 2-car. Going to maybe play a factor in this as they go down into 3 and 4. Going to be looking for the white this time for the stage.
Well, in GT, you notice, not going to the bottom now. He knows he runs good there, but he knows Preston runs good up against the wall. He's taking away his line here just to make sure there's no way you're getting this pass made.
I think you're exactly right. Do not give the line preferred to the 29. And look, my interesting thing is he drops down, gives him the clean air. He is confident in that move down. It works as he goes down the back straightaway, builds the gap. Now down to 3 and 4. He opens up the top. Can the 29 get the run off the top? He builds car links through the center, though. GT off of 4. What a drive. Stage 2 victory here for the 14. He's looking to go for that win and all the stages tonight. What a night for the 14 of GT Irizarry.
Zach Schrittenthal able to hold on for 3rd place stage points there. And James Catrone as well, holding on to 4th position. The biggest thing, though, Ryan Bean able to keep it clean in the 25 and come home with this lucky dog position. Going to be back on the lead lap for this final stretch of the race after stage 2.
What a win there for GT Irizarry to get another stage victory. That's 20 bonus points in the bag for him tonight. And, man, that's got to feel good for him if he doesn't even get the victory tonight. So we'll have to see what plays out in the final stage of this race. But we know this man has won the first 2. Can he win that 3rd? We'll have to see. Only thing he didn't do not tonight to get the Grand Slam so far is get that final win, the stage and the pole. So going to come up a little bit short anyways, but man, what a night it's been for the 14. And I got to tell you, that's almost more impressive to me than starting up front. I mean, he started 13th and just drove through the lead on a track that we've seen almost become one groove.
Now, I tell you, Zach, he's won the first 2 stages. He's going to go on to win the race, and the only reason he's not going to get the Grand Slam is because he missed putting down that qualifying lap by about 3 seconds.
Very, very true there. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you never know. It could have been that could have been the lap for sure. I mean, that could have been the pole. So that's why he didn't get to start where he deserved. But man, coming down pit road this time, we'll see what these drivers do. They should be taking their final set of tires, I believe. Or actually, no, sorry. Their second to last set of tires. They should have one left after this to use for a green flag stop or whenever that stop comes with if we get a caution. But man, get some tires here, and then we'll have a talk with them as they exit pit road.
Well, as these guys are hitting pit road here, getting their service done, the 48, the 6, and the 68 have decided to take the wave here. It's going to hurt him for this strategy, or them for the strategy, but this is an extra set of tires they're going to have if they get the caution to then put themselves back on the lead lap. So things could still go their way.
Very well could, very well. As we exit off of pit road, we'll go ahead and bring down our stage 2 winner, GT, and hear what he has to say again as he gets back-to-back stage victories here tonight at Kansas.
GT, Brandon in the booth again, bud. You got a copy.
Hey, guys. What's up? Hey, it's y'all again.
Yeah, it's us again, man. If you stop winning these stages, don't have to talk to us so often. That was a great stage 2 for yourself. Able to drive up through the field there and hold off a hard-charging teammate in Curtis Preston. Man, it just does not seem like these guys have anything for you when you're running the bottom. Curtis got to you the one time, but you made that adjustment and took his line away. They just can't seem to get it rolling, man. I asked you what you're doing. You said you practice, but I really need to know. I need to see your inputs. I need some data, sir.
Yeah, I don't mind sharing my stuff, man. If there's something I can do to help other people, I'll be happy to do it. But no, I'm not full throttle, through 3 and 4. You're almost running it like a Dover line in 3 and 4. Does that make sense?
Whatever you found, man, it's definitely working. These guys, people have tried it, but they just can't seem to carry the speed that you're running and carry the runs that you've got and kind of mitigate that run the high side's got. Well, we're coming to the final leg of this race, the long stint of it. Gonna have this Robert saying there's some tech issues here, might have to get worked on their GT, but
This ain't no Rick Hendrick car now. Come on now.
oof, shots fired. All right, but man, how are you thinking this strategy is going to play out here for this last long stint of the race here to come down to the checkered flag?
It's going to be all about keeping it clean. I mean, now that we're all bunched back up, I mean, we got to make sure we just keep defenders on it. I'm trying to be patient with guys, but then again, I can't let Curtis check out here, because what we did find out in practice too is clean air is crucial. So I was able to maintain it up there mainly because as soon as he would get up to me, I just run the high line and I just blocked the line. So clean air is going to be crucial. We'll see though.
Well, clean air is crucial, but when you're able to run multiple lanes when other guys aren't, you're always going to have the clean air GT. Get you guys going down now, double file, one to go here. Let you get back in the car and get ready to restart this thing. Wish you the best of luck, bud. It's been a pleasure so far seeing you come up through the field. Hopefully you don't have to for the rest of this race. You can kind of hold station, but we'll be watching and hopefully talk to you at the end of this thing.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we'll be celebrating the W at the end of this. We'll see, man. Appreciate you guys.
All right, there was GT Irizarry. Great interview there from Brandon. And,
What a character.
Yeah, I know. What a character there. And Brandon, he said he got back in the car. I didn't know he got out the car to do that interview with you. That was impressive. I mean, he was on top of the car, I guess, guys. So impressive stuff from GT. Not only can he win 2 stages, but he can do an interview outside of his car while it's still going around the track.
Definitely. He's got some bots there running his car for him. He's just playing the crew chief role, letting him go around.
Oh man, I had to mess with Brandon there as the pace car comes in. We'll get ready to go back. Green flag racing. The start of the final stage. 2 stages in the book, 75 laps. Let's see how it plays out. Preston with the lead. Irizarry won both stages. Can he get the lead back from his teammate? Their pole setter, Travis Everett, he was leading up front the whole time till he had to make a stop. Look, he's made his way back to the top 5 after getting trapped a lap down. Let's see it all shakes out.
Got Kevin Ruff still having a really good run. Also, Stephen Baldwin in the 18's kind of been hit or miss here. Now running top 10. Jared Miller holding station as well. The battle for the lead getting pretty dicey out there. Look like Curtis Preston a little bit on the loose side. Going to allow Schrittenthal to get to the inside of GT just behind him. Travis Everett trying to hold off James Catrone here on the inside. Ryan Bean, though, behind them. He is making a charge. Got that lucky dog for this caution for stage 2. Now breaking his way back inside the top 10 in the 25.
Ryan Bean very much still in this race. Every position he can was outside the cut line coming in here tonight. Set on the pole. And now back on the lead lap. He's directly behind Junior Moon at 28. He's having a great run. Same with Harold Walker to the 22. 2 non-playoff drivers up front. And I tell you another one, non-playoff driver, Zach Schrinthal up second. It's just great to see him back up front. That guy had a lot of pace last season. Now Irizarry goes to the bottom up front. And all the lines shifted everywhere, going from high to low. I do not know which line is the quickest.
Well, you saw Curtis Preston come down there and try to cover off the inside lane and give a little bit of dirty air to GT. But the one thing I noticed, Curtis still can't run the bottom as well as GT. GT really able to keep it painted on the white line there for the apron, whereas Curtis Preston really started to wash up on the exit of turn 4 and gave a lot of clean air to the nose of the 14. And now, big shot from teammate Travis Everett to the back of the 14, trying to help him get around Zach Schrittenthal here, and as well pull himself up to get a job racing 1, 2, 3 going.
What a battle we're seeing here. Preston up front trying to control the lanes. You're seeing Ryan Ezel try to work over Kevin, or actually that was Stephen Baldwin who got by Ryan Ezel in the battle for a top 10 position. But back up front, Schrittenthal trying to hang on to second is GT. Oh no, he might have Catrone to his outside now also, and that's not going to help him there in the 38 getting there. So that's going to pull him back, and Curtis Preston has got to be smiling somewhat, knows it's his teammates who is going to be somewhat of the competition here. But also can't forget, Schrittenthal was right behind him at the end of that run. He's got some long run pace also. This could get interesting for the two.
I'm loving that now everyone is running the bottom. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, they've all made the switch. It seems to GT's line down here. I think the switch will come back to the high line as these tires start to burn in. But again, the bottom line gets better and better looking as this race goes on. And right now, GT trying to work over Catrone. Can't do that. He goes up top. Yeah, big moment there. Looks like Ever almost in the back of him. GT just can't get anything going. Looks like he might lose another position to Watkins. And here comes Ryan Bean down the back straightaway. He's got a big run.
And that was a huge moment for GT. I have not seen anybody do that, but we heard from Ryan Bean talking to him for his pole interview. He said he felt it was fine on the cars. GT got to the high side, and it just snapped. It was a good heads up for his teammate not to run him over there. It would have been catastrophic for 2 of the 3 slide job racing cars here. And now everybody's kind of bailing out on the high side, still making that inside work.
And GT dropping back another spot. Teammate Travis Everett going by. So, man, losing out is our stage 1 and 2 winner. But the thing is, we're going to have a good long run here if this thing stays green. And so far, this race has been very clean. Here comes Hunter Hayward, who's 2 laps down trying to battle with Harold Watkins. And Hayward really just in a terrible position right now for this race. He has got to hope that Sabilla, Potter, and Little can get back on the lead lap. And Andrew Little, we got to give him a shout out. He was 2 laps down. He got back on the lead lap from the strategy he played. And if he can get a caution, he might be able to get back in position somehow.
Yeah, I was very confused. I thought for sure Andrew Little and Hunter Hayward were able to. They were right behind the leaders when the leaders pit. Thought they were both going to take the wave. It was only Andrew Little to do so. Hunter Hayward going down pit road and electing not to take that free lap. So Andrew Little in a great position. Has some battling to do. There's a number of cars 1 lap down ahead of him here if he wants to put himself in a lucky dog position. But he's got the opportunity to do so, where Hunter Hayward still keeping himself trapped 2 laps down. Not sure what the strategy call is and what the 48 is expecting, but that was a free chance to get at least 1 of those laps back. And now still trying to get it back the hard way for the 48.
Yeah, I think the issue was there, Brandon, is he didn't come down during the caution in that last stage. Well, not the stage caution, but there was a caution during the stage due to that wreck. He didn't come down to get no fuel. Andrew Little, I think, did, and you can see Andrew Little now. That allowed him to go longer, but now he has to pit. So he'll be almost in a worse position than Hunter now. He'll be going 2 laps, almost 3 down. So he had to hope for something to happen. So in the end, it looks like Hayward's strategy might play out to be better.
Yeah, and that's kind of the risk you take. You don't know how well your strategy is going to play out until it's too late to do anything about it. I'm sure this was like, okay, we're all bunched up now for Andrew Little. We're all bunched up. Pretty likely we're going to get a caution. Might be sitting in a pretty good spot coming to top off, where Hunter Hayward said, in the likelihood, for as clean as it's been, likely not going to get a caution. I'm just going to go ahead and take it on the chin here and just see how the race unfolds for me. Maybe somehow everybody else gets the lap back and I can cycle back around to be the lucky dog 2 laps down, maybe get back to the front. But it's a tall order, especially for how clean everything's been.
Guys, I'm flabbergasted. I just went through a look back. I was like, how did GT get the second? He went from about 6th position all the way to second in 2 laps. This guy made some amazing passes. Made a 3 wide pass off of 4 on Catrone and Schrittenthal. It was just blew my mind, literally. And right now, up to second, Caney catches teammate Preston. We'll have to see this time by. He was a little bit quicker, so we'll see if he can run him down. Now Schrittenthal there in 3rd, Everett up to 4th as Catrone slots back to 5th. I'm telling you guys, that was the pass, the 2 laps of the season so far I've seen. Is that just how dominant those passes were.
And what that was is just the experience. GT on the short run realizes it's just not worth battling side by side for so long, burning up your tires. Let the guy go, give up the position now, save a little bit, let these guys keep battling and take advantage of a better opportunity as the laps tick in and the tires get more worn. And he did just that. He talked about 2 laps making up all those positions just by being patient and knowing when his moment was to strike. Now he finds himself in second trying to run down his teammate.
What a night it's been for the 14, and now having to try to run down his teammates. We look back here at the battle, Ryan Bean and the 38 of James Catrone with Harold Watkins, but the 48 of Hunter Hayward, 2 laps down. He's got by both of them. He's trying to go back and get his laps back still. So it's just not been working out for that 48, but the 38 here, Catrone, still hanging on to the 5th position, Bean behind him in 6th, and Watkins in 7th. This is the battle for our top 5. Both these drivers looking for good nights here in points to help them before we head off to Richmond.
And behind them for the 8th position, Kevin Ruff still hanging on pretty well considering his nose damage, and it's stacking up to be not the best night, but it's a good points night for the 112. He definitely needs it. Sitting on the outside looking in right now, just anything is going to help, especially with the issues that some guys are having. I mean, look, Trevor Massetti and Bob Fitzpatrick not being here, that's 2 guys that are probably going to fall on the outside of the cutoff line. Kevin Ruff, looking at, he is sitting 11th in points. Nathan Campbell having a worse run than him right now, going to be able to make up those points on the 52, plus the 2 guys not showing up tonight. Kevin Ruff may just find himself sitting on the inside of the cutoff line with a run here tonight like he's having.
That's a very good prospect of things to happen. Also, Andrew Little having that terrible run there in the 19th position. I mean, there's a lot of things that could play out here still left in this race. As you see, the 40 of Hunter Hayward. I mean, nothing here that the 48 has done is work to get that lap back, but the pace is there. That has got to be frustrating for this young man, and he's going to have to go to Richmond next week possibly and be in a must-win spot.
Yeah, I mean, all the credit, his strategy was awful. It was horrible, but he's had the speed, and that's the most frustrating thing. Like you mentioned, he's got the speed to be up here contending. If he wasn't 2 laps down, he'd be sitting in 5th right now, battling with these guys. And considering he's 2 laps down, he has done a great job to get up here and try to do it the hard way and unlap himself, but just does not quite have the pace to be able to come up here and really just walk away and drive around everyone. So it's going to be difficult, and now the leader's catching lap traffic here. Lap traffic getting out of the way for the leader, being very cordial, which you'd expect guys getting lapped. And Curtis Preston very thankful for that, giving some thanks as he goes by.
The big thing is I don't think the strategy was that wrong. I think the strategy was the right call, personally. Go get the stage victory, but just didn't have the fuel mileage right. He made the lap. He made it, but you got to make it back for the caution. And, GT, same strategy, just didn't execute as well as GT. Look at what he ends up. He's 2nd, wins both stages. I think Hayward's there. Oh, a shrink throw onto the wall there. You see in the 2. Man, that's unfortunate for him. I think he's there with the strategy. It's just didn't execute perfectly the fuel mileage to save it, to make it to the end. And that's an unfortunate thing. Gotta factor in that extra lap to get back to pit road.
I will amend my statement and elaborate. Like you said, strategy was the right call. GT played it out, still up here battling. The execution was the problem. And a lot of the strategies, I mean, we talk about the strategies being the Achilles heel of the 48. Most of the strategies are not bad. It has always been the execution that has caught him off and put him behind in a lot of races that he's had a lot of pace, and we're seeing it again, and it for sure is something that's going to have to be worked on. But again, the pace is there. I mean, he's up here battling with these guys and doing a great job of it.
Yeah, he's really doing, not the greatest job executing the strategies. It's getting better, though. I mean, sometimes the strategy's been wrong overall, and just the strategy's been wrong, but this was definitely an execution thing, as he'll have to worry about that next week possibly, because with 2 guys now on the 1 lap down, that does help him if those 2 guys go another lap down. He's just got to hope nobody else does. And Chad Biesinger, I believe, just about to be going a lap down here in the next few moments, as Curtis Preston will be coming up to him. So that's going to add another driver. So 3 drivers ahead of him, 1 lap down. That's not going to help his cause. The same with Andrew Little, who's 2 laps down in the 18th position.
Yeah, the good news is that Andrew Little being 2 laps down, he's a decent bit ahead of Curtis Preston. Andrew Little just now coming across the line, so it gives you an idea of how far ahead he is from Curtis Preston, but he is still 2 laps down and probably going to end up going 3 with the way that it's been now. I mean, we're going to have green flag stops with the way it looks. Everybody running very clean, and most of the field, except for this top 6 guys, are really spread out pretty far, so nobody's really racing each other too hard. Not a lot of potential even for a caution to come up here.
Looking right now at the 14 GT, he's 2 seconds back from Curtis Preston. Remember last week, Curtis Preston domination at the Bristol Motor Speedway. I mean, the pole, both stages just coming up short with the Freaky Fast Grand Slam finish and second to teammate Travis Everett, who we're looking at right now, who's locked in that third spot. I mean, he is just flat out flying right now and pulling away. And the thing is, we're entering our pit window here very quickly. He is looking to have about a 2-second lead already into this pit window. That is looking very good for him.
Yeah, he can afford to back it off a little bit considering the gap he has. Save just a little bit of fuel. Because I mean, even if these guys split it down the middle, it's still going to be close. Timing is going to be absolutely crucial to make sure you can make it to the end of the race after this stop. And I mean, if you can save just a little bit here, it's going to pay huge dividends because you do not want to be in the position where you're running out of fuel through 3 and 4 on the last lap. I mean, 2 seconds is a lot, but if he runs out of fuel going into the corner where GT or Travis are completely under power, going through the set of corners, he probably is going to get past before he gets back to the line.
Oh, I have to see how that plays. I mean, you know, you gotta push it far here to make sure you're good on fuel, in my opinion here. So push it as far as you possibly can here and make sure you're good, and it should play out. But you're seeing a few guys already who elected to come up pit road there. I was looking at the 38 James Contreras. He's continuing to hold on to the 5th position. That's a great run for him as he's held on to that spot ahead of Watkins and Bean. And I believe he's coming to pit road this time in the 38. Oh, right in front of the 23 and the 11. That was a very close call. Gets it woed up, though, and down to pit road for that 38 machine for his final stop. And that's going to be right under 31 to go.
Well, he should be able to make it to the end of the race here from this stop. Going to be getting a bit of an undercut, too, but the gap that the guys ahead of him have is not going to be quite as effective as you would like it to be. But none of the front runners right now, other than Catrone, getting word, none of them are coming down pit road. Unless they're going to be sneaky with it, try to do it like a ninja, just slip on in there. So no takers from the front.
Still no takers, like Brandon said. We'll see who's going to decide to hit pit road. I mean, at the moment, Curtis, again, continuing to pull out a 10th quicker than his teammates behind him. Right now, it's Slide Job Racing 1, 2, 3, as they are showing and flexing that muscle once again, looking to lock in their second driver possibly into that next round. And if not that, lock in a second driver anyways because they got GT behind there. So, I mean, this team is just on a roll each and every week. And they're continuing it here again at Kansas.
Yeah, I'm going to say, how many times throughout this season have we said Slide Job Racing 1, 2, 3?
I don't know. That's a number we probably counted many times. We should have definitely had that on file, but man, it's definitely been something I think that's happened a majority of the time. And I believe Everett hit pit road last time. Yes, it did. Here comes Curtis Preston this time. GT's going to stay out this time and lead this lap. I like the call. Stay out at least a lap or two longer and see if you can run them down.
Yeah, this is going to allow Hunter Hayward to finally get his lap back when GT comes in, supposing he does not come in the exact same lap. It's going to be a brief window, but if something happens in that brief bit of time before he has to hit pit road, he could be getting one of his laps back. We're going to have to see. GT, though, still staying out on the track. I think GT's content with running this out and trying to keep the freshest tires as possible for the end of this race.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, what he's thinking. Because also, remember, this is their last set of tires. So if he does, like you said, he's got the freshest set. If he waits the longest, if we get a caution, it plays right into his hands. He's waiting for that moment. When does he come down? We'll have to see. I think this time he hits the bottom lane here in 3 and 4. This must be the time. Yes, I can see the flames out of the tailpipes as the raw unburnt fuel is flaming up. He comes down to pit road for his final stop.
Yep, no mistakes here for the 14. Gets it in nice and easy. Holding that 45 mile an hour. Right about middle of pit road with that qualifying mishap. So a little bit earlier into the box here. Have to see if he can execute pretty well. No sliding. Ooh, he did. He slid through his box.
Oh, no, big mistake as we watched the battle between the teammates of Everett and Preston. Here it comes back. Everett just cleared him in the lap car one lap before, and Curtis Preston back to the lead here up front as he slides up in front of his teammate Travis Everett off of 4.
But that just shows you that slight bit of undercut for Travis Everett, how much that really closed in the gap on Curtis Preston. I mean, Curtis Preston was about a straightaway ahead of Travis Everett before Travis came down pit road here. I'll cycle back around to be on the back bumper. So GT, you'll have to see where he cycles back out here.
Look at Ryan Ezel here. Down with Nolan Potter in the 34. Potter a lap down, Ezel on the lead lap. He goes by in that 5 machine. But I tell you what, that battle for the lead is not over. Curtis Preston, Travis Everett, they've been side by side this whole entire time, almost switching back and forth positions as they trade the lead here. Remember, Everett took the win away from him at Bristol, and Everett, early leader in this race, also, he's trying to go back to the lead. He does. He clears Preston off of 4 up to the lead. And I tell you what, how much time did GT lose? I think it's a considerable amount, around 7 seconds to his teammates.
Yeah, GT now back into the 6th position and have to get a good gauge of it, but it looks to be about, almost 7.5 seconds now to his 2 teammates that are battling for the lead up there. I think GT might be able to catch them on pace as the run goes on, but you're going to be running out of time before too long here, and 7.5 seconds is a pretty considerable gap to make up on relatively even tires.
Yeah, he's only got a few laps extra. I mean, that's not much. I mean, the biggest thing I can count on is his teammates out front are battling. I mean, it's been back and forth every lap. They're trading positions. I'm not sure if that's actually calculated. No, it's definitely not, because Curtis Preston's breaking the draft, weaving back and forth. And, oh, he weaved and almost got loose on entry, man. I'm telling you what, the battle up front is wild.
Preston relying on his side force there to make sure he kept the car underneath of him, and that's definitely helping quite a bit. I mean, just within that last lap as these guys are battling, GT was able to make up about half a second on them.
Yeah, GT was making up some time here, but I tell you, look at this here. Kevin Ruff, his straight throws under him. That's going to be a pass, possibly for that 6th position. So we got 23 to go. Schrittenthal going to make that pass, slide himself up into the 6th position, push Kevin Ruff back to 7th.
And still a net gain for the 112. I mean, 6th place would have been really nice, but he was running 9th not too long ago, and considering, again, I cannot understate how good of a run this is for Kevin Ruff, considering the amount of damage he has on the nose of that race car, the amount of speed he's been able to keep in it. I think he would be up here contending for these guys in the top 3 before too long, had it not been for that nose damage.
Yeah, I can completely agree with that, man. It's a little bit of nose damage that has kind of kept him back. So still a good run nonetheless with 21 to go here. You can see Preston trying to break away from teammate Everett. And he's got 1 lap fresher, and he did drive away last run. So, but can we see if the draft keeps the 59 in tow? They've switched the lead back and forth probably 3 or 4 times already, but it seems like Curtis Preston's starting to stretch out a little bit here as we hit the 20 to go mark.
Last time by, almost just under a 10th quicker for Curtis Preston over his teammate Travis Everett in the 2nd position. You see again Curtis Preston trying to weave and Indy snake it down the backstretch here and gets loose again on the entry to the corner, just trying to break the draft. It just any little bit that he can take away any little bit of extra speed that Travis Everett's going to have behind him here. But now they come across the line again, checking the lap times again. I mean, almost 2 tenths for Curtis Preston over Travis Everett. I think that 1 lap extra on the tires is finally starting to come into play here, as Everett is slowly falling back from his teammate.
Yeah, starting to fall back as the run continues on. I tell you what, through the first 2 stages, if you told me Curtis Preston would have dominated the final stage, I would have said, I don't know about that. I mean, he looked good. He was running 2nd in that first stage. And the 2nd stage kind of got trapped back, ran 2nd behind GT there also. And then battled for the win. But man, I thought GT had the upper hand, but Curtis Preston has been the quickest car in this final portion of the race. I mean, I don't know if he's figured something out or what, but it's just been a very good race. But look at this, a very good race here too for the 38 who we're focusing on right now. In that third position, 4 seconds back from the lead. He's got Ryan Bean behind him. But directly now past Ryan Bean is GT Arzari. We'll see if he can track down and make that 1-2-3 for Slide Job Racing happen here in the final 17 laps.
Yeah, I've been watching and noticed that James Catrone, he's been up here all night. Just really consistent, not been too fast, but definitely not been slow by any means. Just holding stage and getting a lot of points through the stages, running really well, setting himself up for a lot of points for the finishing position here of the race, and just kind of adding to his buffer. And this will go a long way should he have a little bit of a bad race at a short track. You know how unpredictable short tracks can be. It can collect a lot of cars in just the slightest little bit of contact. But now I don't think he's going to hold on to third place. GT Ryan Bean coming in pretty quick, but definitely a solid top 5 effort for the 38 of James Catrone all race long, really.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of time here before that 14 gets there. He's closing that gap for that third spot while the lead continues to grow up front. Right now, the closest battle looks like we got Kevin Ruff and Harold Watkins, who got Watkins running Ruff down in front of him as that battle for 7th and 8th is starting to heat up.
Yeah, the field incredibly spread out here, and again, Kevin Ruff trying to just hold steady here and losing just a little bit of time, but it's, a couple tenths every single lap. It adds up very quickly, and by the look of it, just the gap between Ryan Ezell and Junior Miller and himself, I think easily a good top 10 here for the 112, and you couldn't really ask for much more considering his circumstances, but still battling really hard, not making it easy on these guys that are a little bit quicker by any means.
Well, he needs every point he possibly can get, and there he goes. He's battling Harold Watkins there as we go down the back straightaway. Looks like Ruff going to pull ahead that outside line, being able to get it done, but Watkins has definitely got a little more pace right now with the tires, but can Ruff just hold on with the preferred line? Yes, he does off of this corner. Looks to be good there, as we did have a lead or a position change for third. Also, GT up the third down. Catrone back to 4th, as that will solidify here for now with 13 to go. Slide Job Racing's 1-2-3. Can we stay green, and this will keep it in the hands of their own, just to not give up, really.
And then, looking back at James Catrone, I thought maybe Ryan B was going to get him. I don't think so. If he's going to get close, but I'm not so sure, especially now with the tow from GT. Really going to help the pace of the 38. It's going to be a bit taller of an order for Brian Bean to get up there and make up that position. And, either way, it's still a spectacular run. But, again, Slide Job Racing, battling back GT. He's started in the back, had the penalty, still managed to win both stages. A little bit of a miscue on his timing for his green flag pit stop, but still able to race all the way back up to third place, taking advantage of his slightly fresher tires than everybody else. And more points for the 14. Just been super consistent no matter the circumstance all season long. And that's why, he's sitting up here as one of our top contenders for the championship, I think for sure.
Yeah, GT's just been very, very strong with the points tonight. A lot of drivers with strong points. Catrone, Bean, a lot of playoff guys having strong nights, but a lot of playoff drivers having not strong nights, and also a few missing tonight. So we've had a mixed bag of things, and with 10 to go right now, the only thing that could mix up this bag is a caution, as Curtis Preston right now is set sail about 1.9 seconds now over Travis Everett. He is flying right now compared to Everett, and GT even starting to drop back also as well, as he's 6.2 seconds back. So it's just Curtis Preston's got this thing hooked up out front, man. And
wow. You had to say it.
Nissan Central caution comes out. 4th caution of the night. I'm not sure what happened there. We'll have to go back on the replay. Looks like we may have had Chad Biesinger in the 23. So go back on the Freaky Fast replay, see exactly what happened.
He just pulled off on the apron. I'm not sure. Maybe he blew up but he came to a stop and it triggered iRacing to throw the caution here. I'm sure he did not intentionally mean to do this. I think an issue with his car, but just decided to park it, and unfortunately bringing out the caution, really shaking up the race. I mean, you hate to see it.
Yeah, and you know, this is actually interesting. I've seen this happen before at this track. I think he was underpowered. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say he was underpowered for sure, but I think he was. But I think he was just pulling over to tow the car, or just, you know, thinking that it wouldn't bring out a caution. But unfortunately, it has. And this has changed really everything for us right here. I mean, Curtis Preston, it's going to restart the lead, but does someone have a set of tires? I'm unsure. I don't know. But if they do, that person could very easily just rip the bottom past everybody.
Yeah, the only person I could think that would have a set would maybe be Andrew Little. I think everybody else, especially on the lead lap, would have already taken all 3 of their sets. So now, I mean, this really comes into the hand of GT, who has the freshest tires out of everybody on the lead lap right now by at least 2 laps. And getting word on the race control, trying to figure out what happened with that caution. Drivers talking about it now. I think the 23 Chad Biesinger, I think they said he blew up as he was going around the racetrack and just tried to pull it low, not thinking he was going to be able to make it to pit road. And it's not uncommon. It's something that a lot of drivers will do if they have a problem like that. You get off the racing surface because you don't want it to trigger a slow car on the racing surface and bring out the caution. And a lot of racetracks, if a wreck happens and it ends up on the apron, especially on the backstretch, it won't throw a caution. So you can't really blame Chad Biesinger for doing anything, especially if he's just coasting, not under power with his engine blown. Really unfortunate that, like Zach said, this is, for some reason, it just happens at Kansas here, where they will register cautions that low on the apron and throw yellow.
Yeah, I've actually had a race that's happened. Exact same thing has happened. So at this exact place. So not uncommon to see a caution thrown when someone stops on the apron here at Kansas for some reason on the back straightaway. We don't know what triggers it, but whatever, you know, is set up for there, it does trigger the yellow. So, man, oh man, I didn't mean to jinx you guys, but I did.
Well, now this is incredibly interesting now. I mean, this is a huge lifeline to GT, but at the same time, even though he had the fresh tires, Curtis Preston was walking away. It seems like Curtis, not the best on the short run, but the long run, he was absolutely flying here. He's going to have to be good on the short run because we do not have a lot of laps left once we get back to green.
I'm very interested to see how this plays out, Brandon. This is going to be wild just due to the fact, I mean, look at this. I mean, Preston going to start up top, it looks like. Give his teammate Travis Everett at the bottom. I'm not sure if we've seen anybody come down pit road and get tires. Do we know if anybody on the lead lap got them some fresh tires? Because if so, that person is going to be a hero.
Nobody on the lead lap. Last person on the lead lap to pit was 108, and that was the 14 to GT Rosari. The most recent cars to have pit, Matt Rush and Chad Biesinger on pit road right now. But other than that, it was Andrew Little at 117.
Well, looks like no tires to worry about. This is going to be a old tire restart down to the end. Preston was super fast out front, but does this cooling down phase give his teammates the chance in the draft? Thing is, I think you only have 1 or 2 laps to get it done, and then the tires go back to the old state of where it's going to be harder to pass.
Yeah, I think if you're Travis Everett here, you're going to have to try to get the lead as soon as possible and keep the dirty air on the nose of the 29 and not give him an opportunity to get back to clean air.
Well, don't miss it here, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to come back to green flag racing. We cross the line this time. It'll be 4 to go. Pace car is in. And look at that. Curtis Preston off and away. Great start for him. He's going to jot himself down to the bottom. And his teammates are all going to fall in line as the top 3 slide job racing drivers. 4 to go. Where do they go? To the bottom is the 2 teammates there. Travis Everett, the other teammate, up to the top. GT with a great run through 1. He clears. What a job by him. Getting the push, though, from the 59 now. What does he do down the back straightaway?
Running just a little bit lower than Curtis, but Curtis sees that, moves down. Now GT back up a little, trying to just get a little bit of clean air, carrying the run here. Going to have a big run, as well as the draft. But Curtis Preston cutting the apron across the line here. Going to nullify that just a little bit. We're going to have to see if GT can get a decent run, get some clean air cuts. That cut again, we saw 1 and 2. Really, and he closes the gap just a little bit.
Patron, big moment in the 38. He's sliding back as he got loose. Throw gets by him. Ruff gets by him. B gets by him. Battle for the lead now, too, as Zell goes through here. Also, Watkins, it looks like GT going to be side by side with Preston off of 4. Here we come to 2 to go. Here comes a run. They're going to wreck it in the grass. I think we're going to stay green, though, as they get it straight. 2 to go here as 3 wide. Ryan Bean, Ryan Ezell, and James Catrone. Who's going to come out of this? Sliding up the racetrack into the 38. Puts him in the wall. Catrone going to lose positions on the final 2 laps.
Heartbreaking for Catrone.
And now as they round through 3 and 4, the slide job racing 1, 2, 3. It looks to be solidified as the white flag comes out. Which teammate's going to win? Which teammate's going to be second? Which teammate's going to be third? And will Schrittenthal get through it if there's an issue? One final time through 1 and 2. Down low. GT just sniffing a nose. Not going to be close. 2 car lengths, 3 car lengths now separating the top 2 as Everett closes in on the 14. Everett dives to the bottom. Preston up top. Irizarry up top. It's going to be a 1, 2, 3. Curtis Preston's going to break through and get his second win of the season here at Kansas.
And Cabin Ruff finishes 5th.
Wow, what a drive for him. Great top 5. And Ezell 7th there. That was great battling between those drivers there at the end. We had so much going on, and these 2 teammates definitely sharing the love as they celebrate their 1, 2, 3 here tonight for Slide Job Racing. Could not have went better for that trio. What a battle as we bring it down here on the front straightaway. You're going to see Curtis Preston celebrate his second victory of the season. Been so long since that first victory. We're going to actually have to ask about what race and what week that was, because it's felt like a while since this 29's been in victory lane. Remember, he was last season's champion, and right now rounding into form at the right time after dominating at Bristol last week. He looked dominant here tonight in the final stage as he celebrates on the front straightaway. We'll be back here in a few moments, everybody, as we get our top 3 from Slide Job Racing here to have a chat. All right, we're back here, everybody, for our post-race interviews tonight. As we got our top 3 finishers, all 3 drivers from Slide Jobs Racing Team here. As it'll be Curtis Preston bringing on the victory. GTR's Irizarry second, and third will be Travis Everett. Let's go ahead and bring Travis up here, as he was our 3rd place finisher here tonight. Hey, Travis, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man? Hey, Travis, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, sir. We got you.
Hey, buddy. Well, I tell you what, another great finish here for you tonight, man. Locked yourself in last week after getting the win at Bristol. Then coming out here tonight and running very well, but not only running well, but having to come back there after that first stage. Having to pit there for fuel and getting trapped a lap down, having to fight back to get a hard-fought third place finish for a 1-2-3 with your team, man. It's got to be a hard-fought night, but a great finish for you. Take us through this night.
Yeah, you said it right. A third-place victory there. It feels like a win. Definitely thought we had messed up pitting there by losing the lap and not be able to get the lucky dog, which, fortunate enough, Curtis, he was able to get it there. But, yeah, I felt like all of us had a great car there tonight, and had a few guys get taken out in the wreck there. They were pretty strong, so no telling what could have been there, but glad to get SJR podium finish there. Curtis won. GT coming home second, myself third.
Yeah, a great team finish for sure, man. And like you said, you're already locked into that next round too. So, just another thing to add on to that, man. Just tonight was very interesting. We seen the bottom definitely work. GT was utilizing it, but it did seem that the top was dominant. I mean, how hard was it to pick and choose your line when trying to pass people?
Early in the run, low line definitely the place to be. And when I made that last pit stop there, I was able to get by Curtis, and he went back to the bottom there. And once he got back by me, I knew I had to do something different because dirty air played a factor in too. So I moved up there and probably should have just stayed behind him and rode it out a little bit there, because high side definitely burns the tires a little bit more.
Well, man, I tell you what, the show you guys put on us for us there at the end was very fun to watch. Congrats on 30 tonight, Travis. Before we let you go, though, buddy, anybody wants to shout to?
Oh, yeah, as always, all y'all over here at Freaky Fast, y'all do a great job. Love going back and rewatching these each week, seeing what everybody did during the race and listening to the commentary. Ryan, everybody at Evolution, Sheffield Graphics, or Nissan Central, ButtKicker, and all my teammates over at Slide Job Racing and Donkey Punch. They put on a great show tonight too. So all around good performance for both teams tonight. Congratulations, Curtis and GT on his second place finish also.
Well, Travis, congrats on third here tonight, man. We will catch you next week at Richmond, buddy, as you'll be able to go there and see if you can get some more bonus points stacked up. You have a great night, man.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Y'all have a good week.
All right, that was Travis Everett, our third place finisher tonight. After winning last week, able to bring home another great finish for third. But let's go ahead and move on to GT Irizarry. After winning 2 stages tonight, going to bring home second after starting 13th. This was an all-around up and down night for him, but a great run nonetheless. Hey, GT, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy? Hey, GT, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Hey, man, what's happening?
Hey, buddy, well, I tell you what, another great run for yourself, but I tell you what, it definitely was a bumpy run. Not getting your qualifying lap in there, coming up probably 100 foot short for the start-finish line right before the time ran out, man. Having to start in the back of the 13th there, drive your way up into the lead to win both stages, and then even you had the speeding penalty to start in the back there, man. I mean, you kind of went through it all tonight in really a hard-fought battle to get back to second there. Kind of take us through how you got there and how you man, I tell you, that one pass you made there, I think it was lap 80, you went from about 5th to 2nd. That was probably one of the greatest moments I've seen here at this track all night. Just take us through your racing here, because you definitely put on a show for us.
All I got to say, brother, that was fun, man. I mean, that was a lot of fun right there. I would have to guess that probably the real nervous one was Sheffield, though, being a team owner. He was probably thinking, oh, gosh, come on, guys, hold it together, And we did, man. I thought I had a better shot at Curtis right there, but, I needed to run that low line longer than just 4 laps or whatever that was at the end right there in order to try and make it work. But nevertheless, man, that was a blast. I hope we put on a great show for you boys.
Oh, you definitely did, man. I kind of jinxed it when the caution came out there, and I was worried I was going to mess you guys up for your 1, 2, 3, but luckily you guys were able to solidify that and hold on to it and bring it back there home. But at the same time, put on a show for us, man, because you definitely made it hard on your teammate there. Had a few looks at it, but just not enough there at the end, my friend. But I tell you what, nonetheless, a good points tonight. You got the 20 bonus points for winning both stages, and then the second place finish. You should be sitting in a pretty good position going into Richmond next week, man. How you feel about that short track? Because it could be a tough one.
We're going for the W next week, brother. Richmond's has been pretty good to me in the past. I mean, we're pretty good there. I mean, but we're more of a long run kind of car. I think last time we were there, we were climbing on up there and looked good and pitted under green. Ironically enough, we had a green pit stop at Richmond, and then the yellow flew after that and caught us a lap down. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking even more forward to it, though, being that we finished second and won both stages today, because I got a lot more points that we can kind of, throw out casually or whatever.
That's exactly right, my friend. It should be fun to watch next week at Richmond. Can't wait for that. For sure, to see if you got the long run pace. And I clearly remember that race last time, man. You definitely had the pace there. Just unfortunate with the pit road there mistake that got you caught up. But we'll have to see how it works out for you next time, man. But before we let you go, anybody want to send a shout out to GT?
Yeah, I always got to thank Ryan and Michael for everything they do for the league. Evolution Racing is I mean, I just can't tell you. Like I said, I've been part of many leagues, and this one right here is tops the list by far. I got to thank my teammates too, because we actually practiced a good bit this week, trying to get things figured out, because we knew Kansas was just, for the most part, for early in the run, you could just flat foot the daggum thing, and it's going to be tough to pass and stuff like that. So that they definitely helped me figure out that low line. Thank you boys up in the booth, ButtKicker, or Nissan Central, and all the other guys on the track for being so respectful and making this place a fun place to race, man.
Well, GT, congrats on second year tonight, man. We'll catch you next week at Richmond, buddy. You have a fantastic night, bud.
Yeah, 10-4. Congratulations to Curtis. That was a good fight right there. So I'm glad to have a team car in victory lane.
Oh, buddy, you have a great night, man. All right, guys, that was GT Irizarry. A well-fought battle there, like you said, between him and his teammate. As now we'll go ahead and bring up Curtis Preston, your Sheffield Graphics race winner, for his second win of the season. What a night it's been at 29. Hey, Curtis is Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Sir, what's going on, Zach?
Hey, man, well, I tell you what, after last week, sitting on the pole, winning both stages, just coming up short there at the second place finish. Like you said, most of the season after last week, it's been second place finishes for yourself, getting beat by a few guys. But, man, tonight, able to break back into victory lane and do it in dominant fashion in that last stage, pulling away from the field. Just take me through the emotions, man, because I'm sure this has got to feel great.
Oh, it's good, man. It's great to be back in victory lane. We ain't seen victory lane since Auto Club, like the 5th race in the season or something like that. We've been real close, been knocking on the door. It's finally good to kick it in, man, and be here. Victory lane's pretty cool, especially finish 1, 2, 3 with our teammates. That's an awesome night.
That it is, man. I tell you what, not only that, but some controversy too. You had to come back from, that first stage, pitting there, short on fuel coming down, and you have to work your way back into that lucky dog position to get the lucky dog there. So were you nervous about that because you're fighting with your teammate Travis Everett there also, who he got trapped a lap down? I mean, those moments had to be pretty tense there in those final few laps of that first stage.
Yeah, for sure. But man, we were sitting there, risk versus reward, and there was just no way we were going to make it. We'd end up in the same position a lot of other guys were. We wouldn't have made it back around, so we just played it safe, stopped for a splash and go, and then luckily we got back out and we were able to get the lucky dog, and then we had the next caution around, and Travis was able to get it on that one. But yeah, that was a little bit of a nail biter, man. You don't want to get stuck back in the back of the pack in a track like this where everybody's on top of each other for 15 laps. A lot of bad things can happen, as you've seen.
Yeah, definitely. So, man, definitely a few guys getting caught up in that for sure, and that strategy biting a few. So, definitely worked out for yourself tonight, man. I tell you what, was very fun to watch you and your teammates battle there down to the end. And 1, 2, 3 for your team. That's got to feel great. now you, like you said, last time you won was at Auto Club, about the 5th race of the season. I mean, huge gap in between the wins, but at the same time, could have had a few in there. I mean, man, does this, especially last week after Bristol, having 2 weeks where you possibly could have got victories, heading into Richmond next week and kind of into the round of 8. Do you feel like the momentum is starting to switch? I know actually this last week, but it's got to feel like it's going even farther in that direction for you because you're getting the pace is coming back to you, I feel like.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been working on things. I mean, we spent a lot of time in the middle of the season trying to just work on things because we had a win, so we knew we were locked into the first round. So we're like, well, let's experiment and see if we can't get faster. And we didn't. So we just went back to doing what we were doing, man, and the pace is right back there. But man, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to get a win in this series, man. It's tough to run up front. So anytime you do, it's a good feeling, man. We're gonna celebrate a little bit tonight for sure.
That it is, man. Very tough to win here in this series, and you've done it tonight, getting that second victory of the season. So congrats on that, my friend. Before we let you out of here, Curtis, to go celebrate this victory, anybody you want to send a shout to, buddy?
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to all the guys at SJR, man. Awesome team to be a part of. Really glad they let me be a part of this. It's a lot of fun racing with those guys, racing them on the track, running like we run. All the guys in here that run every Tuesday night, dude. This is it's a lot of fun. Like I said last week, it'll drive you crazy though, at the same time. But I got to thank Ryan Azell, Michael Sheffield. There's so many people behind the scenes at Evolution Racing Leagues that make all this stuff happen. Or Nissan Central, ButtKicker, Sheffield Graphics, Folds of Honor have come on and helped us a couple times. Really appreciate that. And as always, Freaky Fast in the booth, man. Appreciate you guys and what you do for us every week.
Well, man, like we always say, couldn't do it without you drivers out on the track and without the league able to put on this action. So, got to thank you guys just as much as you thank us. So, man, what a night it's been for yourself. Congrats on the victory, and we'll catch you at Richmond, man. Maybe another victory is waiting right ahead around the corner for you, buddy.
Hope so, man. Appreciate it. You guys have a good night.
You too, buddy. All right, everybody. That was your Sheffield Graphics race winner tonight of Curtis Preston, past series champion last year. I mean, what a night it's been for your defending series champion as he scratches that second win off the list this season. Like he said, it's been since Auto Club. That is just amazing to see. And he's tried, like he said, the biggest thing I took from that interview, he said, we tried things and we didn't get faster. We went back to the basics. And I love that. That just the sound of that interview was amazing, man. So congrats to Curtis Preston on the victory there and being your Sheffield Graphics race winner. Second's going to go to his teammate, though, at GT Irizarry. Third's going to end up being Travis Everett. The other slide job racing drivers in the trio is going to finish 1, 2, 3. Fourth, a great finish for Zach Schwittenthal. Same for Kevin Ruff in the 5th position. Ryan Bing going to bring home 6th for some much-needed points. 7th is going to go to Ryan Ezel after a nice run from 19th to 7th. Aaron Watkins in the 8th position. 9th for James Catrone. Rounding out your top 10 is going to be Stephen Baldwin. 11th is going to go to Junior Miller. 12th is going to be Tony Ludi. 13th, Nolan Potter. 14th is going to be Marc-Andre Thibodeau. Hunter Hayward going to end up in that 15th position. 16th is going to be for Andrew Little. 17th is going to be Rusty Modesty. 18th, Chad B. Singer. 19th is going to be Nathan Campbell. 20th is going to be Matthew Rush. 21st, Kevin Sevilla. 22nd, Anthony Yunez. As that rounds out your field here tonight for the RSR Cup Series. What a night it has been here for racing. Brandon, any final thoughts for tonight's race, man? Because it shook some things up and it solidified some things too.
Yeah, it absolutely did. There's a lot of guys that had some pretty bad nights as far as points go. I mean, you look at Matt Rush, Nathan Campbell. 19th and 20th, it's definitely not what you want to have happen if you're trying to battle for a transfer position. And, some miscues on strategy as well, putting some guys on the back foot going into Richmond, which is already going to be a tough race in and of itself. Short track racing always is. Other guys, Kevin Ruff plucking away at it, coming away with a good finish. Yeah, the slide job guys every week, I mean, just seem to pull it out of a hat when it matters most and come away with great finishes regardless. And, some guys that are not normally at the front. I mean, Ryan Azell, same thing. Just keeping it together, keeping it clean, and finding a really good top 10 out of it. James Catrone, we talked about how good he was during all the stages, getting those points, looking to put in a really good run at the end of the day. Got the top 10, but definitely was not the top 5 that he absolutely deserved to have. So next week, cutoff racing at the short track, man, it's going to be wild, and I'm sure there's going to be some tempers flaring for sure. And when it comes down to it, if you think you might need that point, the bumper might just get used.
Oh, the bumper just might get used. That's got to be a scary sound for a few guys who are going to be on that cut line and heading into Richmond. But we'll have to see how that all plays out once we get those points updated for next week. But man, what a night we had here. Thank you everybody for tuning in. As always, the Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I saw we did get one subscriber tonight. Thank you very much. So make sure if you haven't yet again out there, hit that subscribe button, that bell notification button right beside it, and that thumbs up button to help us out, because it's much appreciated for the YouTube algorithms and helps us grow here as a platform. So thank you to everybody tuning in to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. It's been a wonderful night here at the RSR Cup Series. Thank you to all our sponsors of ButtKicker, McConey Setup Shop. We have Sheffield Graphics and Or Nissan Central. Some great sponsors here on this Tuesday night, so shout out to them. But now to close out tonight's broadcast, let's send it up to our producer, Robert Moyer Jr. Close it out.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you. You know what, guys? I was just happening to look at the standings here. Zab Motorsports could be possibly, if Hunter Hayward does not get a win next week, will be knocked out of the playoffs as a team. You also got Front Row that is hanging right on there to the very edge of everything, too. So this could come down to some team stuff, too, because I'm just looking through the standings, and I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to all play out, as we don't know as going into Richmond, but that's a storyline to talk about, too, guys.
Yeah, definitely is, Robert. Definitely some teams dropping out here possibly in this next round.
Yeah, I mean, SJR is looking very, very strong. Clutch Motorsports is, let's see here, we got Bob. He missed it due to work. Matthew Rush, like you said, had an up and down night. James Controne here, let's see. He's with Jets, man. He should be okay. We have Trevor, that's another Clutch, is out. So it could come down to 2 to 3 teams that are going to be battling for this championship here very closely too. So we got drivers and we got team aspect too here that's coming down to the nitty gritty, everybody. So make sure you tune in next week, as we will update everybody next week at Richmond Motor Speedway, Tuesday night at 7:20 and at 9:20 on what's going on the point standing side of things and the team stand side of things. But hopefully everybody enjoyed tonight's content. Our next broadcast televised will be tomorrow night, 8:30, with Underdog Racing League, as we head back to Daytona for their season opener, where points do matter, with them at Daytona International Speedway, with Zach Hall and Ryan Twynham calling all the action at 8:30 Eastern. So hopefully we catch everybody tomorrow night. But until then, or until the next one, we want to say here, Freaky Fest, everybody out there, please be safe. And God bless everybody. We love yous all. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.